Yeah, everybody, my name is Vino, and today we're going to be talking about A Vision of Shadows, the brand new installment to The Broken Code, and the third book so far. And usually the third book is the tipping point, and so everyone was really excited for this book to come out. And Broken Code is a very unique series. It has conflicts that have never been explored before in Warriors, and it's just a very strange series all in all. And so everyone was waiting very impatiently for this book, and we finally got our hands on it, our little pawns on this beautiful book. Oh my gosh, look at that cover though. It's so purple. It's so purple. I noticed that both of the new Warrior series, they both have green warrior signs, which is interesting. I'm not sure why that happened. And look at the back. The moon. It's so big and it's so beautiful and so bright. Anyhow, today we're going to be talking about Veil of Shadows, and spoiler alert for the entirety of the Broken Code. This was a very exciting book, and a lot of stuff happened, some good, some bad, some interesting, so there's going to be a lot to talk about today. So we start off, Shadowsight's basically being murdered by the imposter, and so he's totally torn to shreds and then thrown off of a cliff, and then he's fine. He's totally alive, and then he stays alive for a good couple of weeks, maybe even a moon, in the bottom of this ravine, eating nothing, drinking nothing, just being completely unconscious and completely battered up at the bottom of this ravine, while his spirit goes around and wanders and eavesdrops on people's conversations in different camps and stuff. So that thing with the whole ravine being stuck in there, I find that to be pretty unrealistic. Even for a medicine cat with a special destiny who survives seizures and whatever, that's still dude, that's and the fact that he recovered so fast too. I mean, having him asleep the whole time was kind of boring, to be honest, but the fact that he recovered so fast after such serious injuries and traumas, that was pretty weird. What happened? How did he survive this craziness? He fell off of a cliff and got totally torn to shreds by Brambleclaw. Dude. So somehow he survives this, and as a spirit, he walks in on Bramblestar, right? He's spying on Bramblestar because he thinks he's the one who killed him, when he was correct. Who killed him, by the way. He's kind of half dead right now. Mostly he's just unconscious, which is weird, because if every cat who was unconscious was separated from their body, then that would be weird. I know he's kind of supposed to be treading between life and death, but how do you do that for so long? How do you maintain such a fragile balance in such a crippled state? I don't know how that happened. So I'm just going to say that he was unconscious and that his spirit was walking around. So he follows Bramblestar into a den, and then Bramblestar, aka the imposter, just turns around, drops Bramblestar's body, just blah. Bramblestar's body just goes over there, and then Ashfur's there. Mostly he looks blurry and weird and just a figure, but it's Ashfur. I wonder how he hides his appearance from Shadowsight and how he orchestrates all those visions. I wonder how that works, what kind of preparation goes into it and what you have to do. Because, usually when you see a StarClan cat or a ghost, you know who they are, right? They have their appearance and everything. They just have, stars and stuff in them. But Ashfur was a very shadowy and shady figure. I wonder what goes into making yourself look like that, right? So I'm not sure how that happens. But anyhow, Ashfur's here now and just hey, Shadowsight. And Shadowsight's oh my god, you can see me, right? Because he's a ghost, and no cat has been able to see him thus far. And then, he's oh my god, what just happened? And then this Ashfur dude, he's just, threatening him and just talking about his plans. And oh, it's a really interesting scene. I really love that one. Probably one of the most dramatic and creepy scenes that has ever happened in Warriors. It was shocking to see him turn. Even though I knew that this scene was going to happen, I had gotten spoilers long ago about this scene. It still shocked me. It shocked me to my very core to see, after Shadowsight wandering around so long with no one being able to see him, after Bramblestar just being normal Bramblestar for so long and staying in his body like he's supposed to. That was shocking, and it was really good. I love that one. That seems to be one of the favorite scenes, and yeah, I love it too. And it's not just you guys, okay? I love it. It's perfect. Okay, so then lots of things happen. I'm not going to go over everything. I'm just going to talk about some of the highlights for me and some of the things that kind of bugged me. So, Rootspring becoming a medicine cat. Rootspring becoming a medicine cat. Like, literally, a guy says, like, 3 sentences to him, and he immediately decides to change the path of his life forever with no thought, right? There's a slight degree of thought, like, oh, I'm going to be able to serve my clan, and then at least I'll be weird and no one will judge me and whatever, but this book, and even in Silent Thaw, that whole conflict with Rootpaw being judged wasn't really explored as much as it was in Lost Stars, and so I feel like he kind of got over it, but then here he is bringing it back up as like a major reason he wants to become a medicine cat after being trained a warrior his entire life. I don't understand. Dude. Oh my god. Like, okay, that just bothered me. That just bothered me. And then Flip Claw. I actually liked that. I liked Flip Claw's one better than Rootpaw's because Rootpaw had no reason to become a medicine cat. There were already 2 medicine cats in Sky Clan, and they did not need another one. Rootpaw was almost done with his warrior training. He did have contact with ghosts, but that's just because, like, are you going to make Tree a medicine cat now because he can see ghosts? No, he doesn't have a connection with StarClan. He can see ghosts. It's a completely different thing. So that just bothered me. That just really bothered me. And I kind of liked, though, how he struggled to learn the herbs because usually you just learn them so fast, right? But generally, I just didn't like that. Flip Claw, on the other hand, him becoming a medicine cat was totally whoa. Like, he literally was just, like, chitter-chattering about dreams as young warriors do. Like, oh, I had the craziest dream last night. And Bramble Star's like, you talked with StarClan. You are now our medicine cat. So that was weird. That was super unexpected and very surprising. Really loved that. Poor Flip Claw, though. Poor Flip Claw. He was so confused and lost, and he didn't know why he was there, and oh, Flip Claw. I do like how having Flip Claw as a medicine cat put Alderheart in danger. That was a very interesting conflict. That was a very bizarre threat. Usually it's like, I'm gonna kill you or something, or I'm gonna get you for this. But no, it was like, hey, I won't be screwed now if I hurt you, right? It was a very interesting threat that Bramblestar made, and I really liked that plot line. One thing I didn't like, though, I absolutely despised, was that Bris was totally, like, Bris and Rootpaw got together in a very forced way, right? Bris hasn't shown interest in Rootpaw for a long time now. And Rootpaw just says, hey, I like you. And she's like, hey, I like you back. Hey, are we going to get married now? Like, there's been forced relationships before in Warriors. It's kind of just like a normal thing now. Most relationships are just kind of bad, mostly. But, like, you can do better than this, especially with the 2 main characters getting together. Like, you can do better. So, like, another example of a bad relationship, a badly developed relationship, would be Thunder Starflower. They just see each other, ooh, in love. And then Clear Sky Storm, they're in love. But at least both of them had interest beforehand, or at least at the same time, right? Because Rootpaw, this entire time, he's been obsessing over Bris. Bris, she thought about it once, maybe twice, and then was just like, you know what, this is just a kid, like, just go away, I don't want anything to do with you, I have to deal with my clan. She seemed not interested, and then all of a sudden, he's like, hey, I like you, and she's like, oh, I guess I like you too, let's get married. No, that I hated that. I mean, I'm cool with them getting together at some point, but I just wish that there was some indication, like, beforehand, maybe earlier in the book, while Bristlefrost was being the deputy. She was like, oh, I wish, like, she found herself, like, fantasizing about not being deputy, and part of that might have been Rootpaw. And she's like, what? Where'd that come from, right? I wish there was just something that came in before this, right? So that it wouldn't feel so bad, but it does. Next book, they're gonna have children. And, yeah, that's just, I'm so disappointed. I really wish that it had been better than this. Like, we've been waiting for this moment a long time, and then you just give us this garbage. Sorry about that. So a lot of people seem to be saying that the Allied forces, I really like, though, one thing, is that the Allied forces have a camp, the Exiles have their own camp, and that Shadow Clan and Sky Clan kind of got over their things. Like, the political conflicts were done really well in this one. I really like that. But a lot of people were saying that all the Allied forces ever did was discuss who the imposter was. Well, I thought that when I was reading through it, maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but usually it seems like they're not talking about who the imposter is, but whether they should kill him or not, and what they should do with him, and not who he is. Mostly it's at the end where Squirrelfly's being like, who's this guy, right? Mostly they're not thinking about that too much, or at least a lot less than I thought they'd be talking about it, based off of the spoilers I got. So I didn't find that to be much of a problem. I do think that they were discussing pointless things, though. They took a long time to decide on stuff. Like, let's kill Bramblestar, let's not kill Bramblestar. That conversation went back and forth way too much, and it just took way too long to decide anything. But I guess that's to be expected. These are cats from 5 different clans. And so they are gonna have different opinions. Even cats within the same clan have different opinions. So I guess it's to be expected. I did find it a little boring with them being in like a meeting every chapter, every 2 chapters. A meeting was always going on and they were always discussing something that didn't really seem that important. I did find that a bit annoying. But, let's count the good things about this. That one scene with Ashfur, amazing. Spider-Sight becoming a possible villain, or even just like a return of Spider-Sight. Really love that. The politics, the conflicts, I loved that. The twist where Flipclaw became a medicine cat, that was super cool. I really loved that. And I'm sure there's plenty others, like Squirrelflight faking her death and Bramblestar just being completely broken about it. I loved that. Now, some things I didn't like. The battle. The fact that so many cats died in such a short period of time when we've had battles like the Great Battle, the battle with Blood Clan, where only a handful of cats died in a much larger battle. So I did not like that. I know that they're just trying to kill off more cats so that ThunderClan and the clans can be smaller, but make it seem like a really, really long, really, really hard battle. It seemed most of the time the cats weren't even fighting. They were just like kind of batting at each other, and the battle didn't last that long, and a lot more cats died in that battle than any other battle as far as I can remember, or at least any battle of that length and of that size. So I really wish they'd done more to justify all the cats who died, because most of the cats, again, they weren't fighting. They were not fighting. They were trying to not fight either side because they were on Allied troops. They were part of the Allied group, and they were also part of their clan. So most of them weren't fighting. And then the ones who were, there weren't that many of them, and the battle didn't last long enough to justify how many cats died. Okay, and then we also have the fact that Shadowsight survived that insane attack, and then Bris and Rootpaws getting together thing. The constant talking about random stuff in the meetings about Bramblestar, and the fact that Berrynose died. I really wish Berrynose did not die. So yeah, so that's 5 things that I like that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure I liked many more things. I just can't think of them right now, or they're just not important enough to be mentioned here. And 4 things that I didn't like. So this book, the score that I'll give it, 1 out of 10, I'll give it an 8. It was good. It was fun to read, and there were lots of very interesting things going on, but there were a few events that just really put it off. Actually, I think I'll give it a 7 more, because those events, like those little things, were so badly done, it just turned me off completely for a lot of the book, because those were not well done scenes. And so that's the score I'll give it, 7 out of 10, as far as good books go. There were some really good lines, some really good quotes of dialogue. There were some really good conflicts going on, but there were some also really bad and unnecessary scenes in there, and the whole thing kind of felt unreal, right? The passing of time felt weird and artificial and strange. It felt a little bit odd as a book. I don't know, maybe it's something about how the writing style changed, or I don't know, something about it wasn't calling to me in the way that some books do, so mostly Dawn of the Clans. But other books outside of Dawn of the Clans as well. So yeah, I guess that's my review for Veil of Shadows so far. I might do a follow-up to this one just because there's a lot going on as far as the Broken Code goes. I'll probably do something talking about Darkness Within and Place of No Stars. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!